Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Mindful Parenting. Our live at 5 has come back, and hopefully some of you will be able to join us. Again, drop your comments below. You have to give BeLive permission, so you can tag that at the top and just say yes, and it should just allow us to see your comments. But I am here this evening with the lovely Chloe Myers. Hello, Chloe.
Hi Rachel, hi everyone.
We've just been commenting on the fact that her lighting looks much better than my lighting. She looks all warm and lovely, and I look as if I'm like got this horrible, harsh, artificial lighting. So I'm going to have to find out what light ring you've got there, Chloe, because it looks really nice.
Thanks.
So I wanted to give a little overview for you guys on, as you well know, everybody that I bring in to come and speak to you guys, I know, and there's normally a little bit of a background story, and Chloe is no exception because we basically became social media buddies, didn't we? I think we kept liking each other's posts and commenting because there was such a crossover of things that we are both interested, not just interested, but believe in and follow and, you know, really passionate about, that we kept commenting on this, on very similar things, like for months and months. I think it was actually right at the beginning of lockdown, Chloe, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, because I saw your page, your group come up, and at the time, I think like every other parent, we were all thinking, "Oh my gosh, homeschooling," and for me, a child with additional needs as well. I just thought I need to be in this group. So then we connected that way, I think.
We did, and I just thought I think it was the brain breaks. I think it was talking about the brain breaks was the one that you suddenly went, yay, hurrah. And Chloe and I've had quite a few chats since, because I think she's got an awesome business herself, which she's going to tell you about. But that passion for integrated health and the complementary side, which, as you guys know, I'm really interested in as well, led me to basically grab her and say, come into the group, share some great, she's got so much knowledge. Every time we speak, I have one of those ones where I go, she just knows so much. Oh. So yeah, I kind of put her on the spot a bit about it, actually. So I do apologize, Chloe. It was one of those ones I kind of went, no, you've got to come in and share that knowledge. But I know she is really passionate about education, and especially about health education. And even though we had planned this, I do apologise to Chloe as well, because we actually planned this weeks and weeks ago, and then things kept happening. But I think that serendipity that we managed to schedule it for today, because for those of you who are in the UK watching this, we have just hit lockdown 2.0. So I think it's a really, really great time for, once again, people to take a little bit of time out, and maybe time for themselves, time to reevaluate, and look at those things that maybe they thought the first time that they could put into place, but somehow never got around to it. And then we got caught up because the kids went back to school and work kicked off. And I know for a fact that, you know, just from this group and other groups that I'm in, that parents are already going, oh, I'm here again. So welcome, Chloe. Tell us a bit about you, and then we will hit into our conversation of some of your amazing advice.
Thanks, Rachel. So yeah, I'm Chloe. I'm very close to 40. I've got two young boys. One is 9 and the other one is 6.5. My eldest is actually on the SEN register. He suffers with ADHD. So the last sort of 6 years for me have been a bit of a roller coaster as a parent, which is obviously why Rachel's group resonated with me. And I kind of fell into health and nutrition purely by chance, really, because nutrition had such a massive impact on me. I used to suffer horrendously with acne. I might as well share some pictures, actually, just so you know why I'm so passionate about fruits and vegetables and what I do for a living. But when I was pregnant with my youngest, I was introduced to whole food capsules, essentially a supplement. And when I took it, it got rid of my 20 years of acne. And I always say that whatever you do in life, if it's a passion, it's a bit like Alice in Wonderland. You kind of open a door and you learn something, and as you do that, a few more doors open and a few more doors, and you end up sort of enrobed in this world. And that's what I did with nutrition, and it just became a huge passion of mine, and now it's my business. But when I talk about my skin journey and the difference that nutrition and health and self-care has made to me, I used to look like this. I don't know if you can see the picture so well,
You
but
can, yeah, really clear, really
so
clear.
20 years I kind of, had this awful battle with my skin, and it used to cause blood poisoning and things like that. I used to have to go to hospital, and I tried everything. I did all the conventional stuff that you would do. And so this is why I feel so passionate, because as I've learned, I've understood what's happening in our bodies and how we can take our power back and how we can look after ourselves to optimize our health, our energy, to then be present for the people that need us. And so everything I try to talk about or educate about is about putting the right stuff in to get the right stuff out, and self-care. And that's kind of what I wanted to sort of share a little bit more about tonight, is just some simple tips for self-care.
That would be brilliant. And I know that those photos, and it's very brave of you to post those, and I know you've posted them before, and I showed them to my daughter, who also suffers from acne, and you and I have had this conversation before. And do you know what? It was really liberating for her to see an adult post those.
Yeah.
And to post them without shame.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure I would post it if my skin still looked like that, if I'm honest. It's only because I've been acne free for about 7.5 years. But when you look at,
but nonetheless, it's still you. And I think
Yeah.
the honesty that you've put out there is, people can really resonate with that.
Yeah, I didn't realise how emotional I was about it. I remember once doing a talk in front of about 600 people, and they put the image up behind me, and I heard this gasp in the room. And I just remember turning around to look at the screen, and it got me. I couldn't speak. It really made me, I think, to see other people's reactions to my face. And of course, when you live like that for 20 years, right through your teenage years, your 20s, your wedding day, looking like that, it's misery. It's absolute misery.
Yeah.
And I think that's where I feel so empowered to try and help people, because so many people go through niggles, ailments, daily things that they kind of get used to feeling. And I got used to having skin like that. I hated it, and I fought it every step of the way, but you get used to it. And we get used to feeling rubbish,
Well,
with our health.
I think you're absolutely right. I think it is this thing of, from the fact that I run the Wellbeing Centre, the amount of new clients that I see that just go, well, but I've had this pain for years. And you go, you don't have to, right?
Yeah.
And they go, well, yeah, but I've done this, I've done that. I go, yeah, but why do you think you have that pain? And they'll go, oh, well, I had a riding accident, I fell off a bike, I did this. So therefore, I've accepted that's now my norm. And I think challenging that can be quite a scary journey for some people. Whether it's internal health, external, a bad back or a skin condition. It takes a brave step to go, I'm going to step out of all these other things that I've tried, and I'm going to try something else.
And it's also a journey. I don't think, when we've been on the planet for as long as we have, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, you've gone through stress, you've gone through trauma, you go through a lot. Your body takes the brunt. And I think a lot of the time people want quick fixes. And I think, what I always say to my clients is, this is at least a 4-month process, but health is a journey. It's like going to the gym and trying to get a 6-pack in 2 weeks. You have to understand that if you're consistent and you put the right effort in, the right stuff comes out. But nothing happens overnight. And it's the same with disease processes as well. We don't just suddenly get sick. It's things happening on the inside of the body. And so much can be done through mindset, through health, nutrition. And that's kind of where I sit in the whole sort of self-care thing, that it's a priority. And we live very much in a reactive world. And I do webinars every couple of weeks about this, and I always touch upon it. We live in a reactive world instead of a proactive world. We wait till something happens or we get sick, and then we go to the doctor, and then we look at sick care. And for me, what I'm trying to sort of educate in my message is, well, why don't we do things to take care of ourselves now, before we get sick or before we feel drained or run down, and do the simple steps now as a
Preventative.
to look after ourselves for when we're 60, 70, 80. And that's how we should be sort of tackling all aspects of health, really, and well-being and mindset and mindfulness, being mindful of our health, mindful of what we put out there and project. And that's definitely been a struggle of mine. It's something I still struggle with now. You know, I'm not a negative thinking person, but I do battle with that kind of stress, you know, and stress, I think, is the biggest Achilles heel. If I get stressed, my skin will tell me that I'm stressed. It's my way of showing me. But I think stress is actually the biggest rust in the body. It's the biggest killer because it affects every aspect of our body. Of course, we're going into a lockdown. You know, we've just come out of one, which was horrendous for the parents having to, I mean, lovely in lots of ways. For me, I've brought lots of positives from it. That time with my family and with my husband and my children. But oh my God, homeschooling when you've never done it and when you've got a child on the spectrum. I mean, oh my God, I think I probably cried most days. It was hard. It was such an adjustment. And that stress, you know, all us mums especially, we're kind of like coiled springs. And I don't know if people watching this call can resonate, but when my boys went back in September, I thought I'd be skipping down the path. I had a really tough September. Yeah. I found it really hard to adjust to mentally. It was strange. I was very emotional, very all over the place. I think it was like that 6 months of stress, and then all of a sudden it releases, and the body just kind of goes into a bit of a all over the place thing.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I think across the board, September, regardless of where you, obviously I took the decision to homeschool my children, but I look at September and everybody had this expectation that the day that the kids went back, normal life would suddenly kick back in, and then went, oh, I don't feel like it's normal life, because we're not in normal life. So I think we put massive expectations on ourselves as parents, you know, regardless of what age your children are or whether they're at school or homeschooled. I think the expectation of parents that once you create these patterns of norm, that you can just switch in and out of them and we can transition. But actually the transition, it's interesting because I was thinking about, I think I don't know if you've done live with Claire Ford, and hopefully Claire will be watching this at some point. We did a really great talk about transitioning the kids back to school. But actually the thing that really hit me in September was the parents' transition that was difficult.
Massively.
And I think for us, you know, a lot of the people in this community are self-employed and work for themselves, or if they're not self-employed, they are working parents. And that massive mixture of, you know, we had this crazy juggling where the kids and homeschooling and then this and we thought, oh, it will all settle once they're back. And actually we then put off the stuff that we thought we were going to do. Oh, we'll do that when the kids go back. So we put ourselves under this huge pressure.
Yeah.
September was going to be like the most productive month we've ever had in our whole life. And then it didn't happen. And then we felt that we'd failed because we should have surely achieved all of these things. So I agree with you, Chloe. I think we've got an interesting, even though in the UK we've only got 4 weeks, hopefully, big fingers crossed, of another lockdown. I know for pretty much everybody, you know, we've got people from all over the world in this group, and I think pretty much everywhere there are various forms of lockdowns going on. You know, some involve schools, some don't, but we are all still affected in some way by a lockdown scenario, and it isn't the same as when you're out of it, I think, because it's that uncertainty. And it'd be interesting to know from people from different countries, but, you know, in the UK, the last 5 days have been crazy because the guidelines have literally been changing every single day. So, you know, you talking about stress, I felt relatively okay until Saturday, and then got, you know, our BBC leaked that we were going to have a lockdown, and I spent 48 hours in massive stress mode, because I could just see my business that I'd spent 4 months rebuilding close overnight. And Was I working? Wasn't I working? Could I work? Is it allowed? Shall I contact people? Shan't I? Can't, though all of that uncertainty is really, really stressful. So I'm hoping that some of the tips that you're going to come out with for us this evening will help us parents through this next transition that we've got coming. So hit us with some ideas, Chloe. What can we do?
Um, well, interestingly, like one of the first things that I think is really important is just to surround yourself with good people. And it's hard to do when
Yeah.
you're down, for example, or when you're only allowed to see small groups of people if you're not in the UK, depending on your rules. But I think there's a lot of negativity out there, and there's a lot of people who can drain your energy. I call them the mood hoovers, but you talk to them and
Yeah,
it's just,
I like that. Yeah.
and you come out like, I was really positive, but now I'm really depressed. And
Yeah.
somebody today was talking to me about, do you know what? She's been trained in sort of some counselling stuff. And she said, do you know what? It's so important just to go to people and sometimes just have a vent and a rant where somebody just listens. They're not thinking, and just to listen, they're not thinking about the answer they're going to give, just to talk and have that person listen to you. But to be around the positive people, the people who raise you up and make you feel good or make you feel secure. And I think that's really important. One of mine is my mum. She's my person. I will call her every day and I always feel good. And if I call her in a problem, I think it's very important to have a good, like an army of people, whether it's 3 to 5 people around you. You can pick up, you can jump on a Zoom call, pour yourself a glass of wine or something, and just talk. And people who are like-minded as well, who get it and understand. So I think that's as a parent, I think it's so lovely to be able to get it off your chest, because you can't do it to your kids. You're trying to protect them from what's going on. You can't necessarily do it with your partner because you talk about it all the time. You need fresh ears. And I think it's really, really important to have the army, the couple of really good friends or family around you that you can just pick up the phone to and talk to.
I think that's a great tip.
And to be that person to someone else as well, and just to listen and just let them just,
Yeah.
over you, as it
Yeah,
were.
yeah. I think that's a brilliant one. I was chatting with a friend last night who I haven't seen for a while, and we had a similar session, and yeah, she's one of my go-to tribe.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. If you surround yourself with people who can lift you up, I think that's brilliant positive for us to take into this next stage. Definitely.
It's like this are very good. I'm very lucky. I work with a team of very like-minded people, and they are a tribe for me. They really inspire me, and that's why I got involved with all of this in the first place. Because as a stay-at-home mum, looking for something and kind of thinking, is there more to me than just being the mum? Having people that can bring out the best in you is really, really important. So I would say that. The other thing that I've got into doing, because I was in that kind of funk over lockdown, and I found that I was giving out to everybody and not to myself, is I've started working out in the mornings and exercising. And somebody posted yesterday saying that a colleague of theirs said they go out every lunch hour with their dog and go for a walk, and that fresh air sets them up beautifully for the afternoon. And I think the same is true about having a really good morning routine, no matter what it is. I mean, exercise is brilliant because it's going to get those serotonins and that sort of those hormones going, that mood boosting sort of endorphins going. And I'm very lucky. I've got an online PT that it's £10 a month, and I get up. It's 6:30 every morning. It's 30 minutes.
Sorry, Chloe, your sound's doing something. Chloe, your sound's doing something.
My sound?
Yeah, it was as if somebody else was cutting into your sound feed then.
Is it okay now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now I was going to say, so a good morning routine. There's things like journaling or doing gratitude. Gratitude's amazing. Waking up in the morning and having a little diary by your bed and just writing the 5 things that you could be grateful for. And it could be something like, I am alive. It could just, if you're really struggling.
Yeah.
Or it could be, I'm grateful that my husband's bought me a cup of tea. I'm grateful for my marriage. I'm grateful that, I'm spending the day with my child today and doing this. Like it could be something really small to something just, I'm breathing and I'm healthy.
Yeah.
But actually I started doing that. I did 100 days of gratitude a few years ago. And what I noticed was when I woke up, instead of thinking, oh, what am I going to do? I thought, what am I going to post today? And during the day, I started thinking, could that be my gratitude post? Could that be my gratitude post? And I'd get to the end of the day and I'd have 10 things that I could be grateful for. Really changed my way of thinking. So I think trying to create something for you, if it's getting up in the morning while the house is quiet, setting that alarm for 10 minutes before the kids get up, pouring yourself a cuppa, like a hot herbal tea or a coffee or whatever, going and sitting quietly in a chair and just being at peace, or doing meditation or something like that, just carving out some time for you in the morning. Because to get your head in that positive state, or that energized state if it's exercise, or that refreshed state if it's going for a walk, or that feeling of gratitude when your children walk into the room, it's literally 5 minutes, 10 minutes can change your whole day, can decipher that whole day and the mood in which that day carries out.
Yeah.
Shit can hit the fan, can't
Yeah,
it?
no, I get it. I think, people know from here, I've posted before about, morning routines. My big one is setting intentions. So it's, my gratitude is at the end of the day, but my setting intentions is at the beginning. And for those of you with slightly older kids, most probably like 7, 8 plus, setting intentions together in the morning can be really powerful as well. But I love that idea of, as you said, it doesn't matter almost what the routine is, but that 5 or 10 minutes that is your setting point for all the stuff that it's almost like that foundation. I know I might have 5 meetings and 2 school runs, and I've got to try and get online uniform, and I haven't even thought about Christmas. But actually, if you set that foundation right at the beginning, I just think we've got a little bit more hope of seeing ourselves through the day without hitting that stress level immediately.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think just being a bit more mindful during the day as well, because obviously if we're working from home, and if we've got, we've all got, the financial worries, we worry about our children, worry about our family, we worry, especially as mums. I'm speaking more to the mums because I'm a mum. But I always say, I love the saying, you can't pour from an empty cup.
Yeah.
And if you're on the aeroplane, they tell you to put your gas mask on first, your oxygen mask first, before you help other people. And I think that we are the other way round. We help everybody else, and we come right at the bottom of the heap. We don't have time to run ourselves a bath. We don't have time to eat the nice food. We don't have time to go to bed early. We never make that time for us. And actually, if we could switch it around and put ourselves at the top, the biggest priority, if we invest in our health and in our happiness and in taking some time for us, we can give so much more to everyone around us. We are able to give the time to our children in a really positive, constructive way. And I think we would feel guilty if we do that. Like,
yeah,
40, I went to the cafe for an hour all on my own.
Yeah.
But actually, by doing that, when you come home, your children have missed you, but you are great. You're a better parent for it.
Yeah, you're more present. Absolutely.
Take time as a parent, and it's not something I do enough either. I mean, all these tips I give, it's stuff that I'm trying.
I know, but it's a journey, Chloe. That's the thing. You and I've talked about this before. We can't. I'm not sitting here on my soapbox preaching to anybody. I am a parent like everybody else, who day by day I'm chipping away, and some days are great, and other days, I've been really stressed this week, and Sunday was like my ultimate stress, and I just said to everybody, I'm really stressed, and you just have to give me the space, because I have, you know where you are in that. So it is a journey, definitely. My dog's going to come in because the fireworks have started, by the way. So
bless.
And it's interesting you said that, Chloe, because we had a great live with Jo Ogarar, who I think you know as well. And the number one tip I brought out of her was switch these priorities. Are you on there? And you kind of went, I don't think so. Not only should you be on there, but you're up there. And I kind of went, oh, really? And it was a real shift. It's a real shift of mindset for me. So I hear you. I think, as you said, everybody else gets put up there.
Yeah, I know that's something Sarah Weller talks about as well. We've done coaching. I've done work with Sarah with my son, and she always says, as a parent, don't feel guilty about putting yourself first, because when you can look after yourself, you can be so much more present for others. And
Mm.
it's something I've never felt guilty about, taking some time for myself, or taking time out to, you know, yeah. Even if it's just, I'm so lucky to have a loft conversion. My bedroom is a sanctuary. It's so quiet up on the top floor. I'll just go up and 10 minutes, just lay
Yeah.
on the bed, doors shut. It's like healing. It's like therapy.
Yeah,
to
yeah.
time for ourselves. So don't feel guilty
Yeah.
about it. It's really important that we do
That's
that.
another great one, Chloe. Okay, number 3.
This is sort of, the last one really. What I find a lot is when people are struggling, or if they're not coping well, the absolute first thing to go is your self-care. I've got a very good friend who suffers a lot with depression, and she's quite open about talking about it. But weirdly, when you're in that state, the first thing that you do is put all the bad food in and stop exercising, because you kind of shut down. And I know that, my battery's low, I better not get cut off. I know that when we are stressed, or when we're going through a lot, or when we have overwhelm, which I know every parent suffers from, when we feel that overwhelm, the first thing we do is stop taking care of ourselves. And I work in health and nutrition. Nutrition, the way I see it, is that we feed our body, we feed our cells. Hippocrates said, let food be thy medicine. And when I was talking about stress, and sort of with my skin and the reaction that it has, when we look at how we feed our bodies in terms of what we feed our mind, are we drinking enough water? Are we getting so tired that we're just downing coffee, which then affects the adrenals and upsets the hormone balance? Are we making those right choices? And for me, I work with simple supplementation, whole food, fruit and veg. We run cleanses as well, and it's all about supporting the body on a nutritional basis, that foundational basis. And I think if we look at how we eat Monday to Sunday, it's very hard for us actually to get it all on a plate and to put it all in. And of course, when we're rushing, we make the wrong choices. So my final tip is just love your body as much as you love yourself. Love what you feed the body in terms of what you feed your mindset, which is when I said be with good people.
Yeah, get you.
Be careful. Like, I don't watch the news. I don't like the news. It causes such anxiety in me, and I feel quite powerless watching it. It brings me down so much. I'll go on Google and I'll look at the BBC news, but watching those visual images really upsets me. So I've just made that choice not to do it. Try to go to bed earlier. Feed your body the good stuff. Instead of reaching for the quick chocolate bar or the bit of toast, which isn't really nourishing the body, instead try and reach for the real food that is going to actually support you through a difficult time, because nutrition on a cellular level is your foundational health, and you are what you eat. You can build your body. That's what's happened with my skin. You can heal the body from the inside out, and through stress, that's when your body needs it most. If you're sleep deprived, that's when your body needs it most. If you're going through trauma, that's when your body needs it most. So instead of going the opposite way, try and access more fruits and vegetables, the antioxidants to nourish the cells.
I hear you. It makes perfect sense, because we're now talking about that whole mind, body, spirit connection, and how you can have the foundation for one, but you actually need to. It's a holistic health again. We're back to where we started, Chloe. It's that holistic health, which is why you and I have had some really, really great chats about how to integrate that. And Chloe's given me some great tips on helping my kids nutritionally, which have been brilliant. So Chloe, how can we tap into more knowledge from you? How can people get involved?
So I mean, if anyone's watching and wants to send me a friend request or something, by all means do. If we're on Facebook, or drop me a message. Like I said, we're running a cleanse on the 16th of November, because I think in December healthy eating goes out the window, whether we're in lockdown or not.
Yeah, well, you can sign me up. You can definitely sign me up. I definitely want to. Yeah. And I was going to speak to you about that anyway, but seeing as we're mentioning it live, definitely.
Well, I'm not really a fan of dieting. I don't think it's sustainable or healthy long term for the body. If we can cleanse and get rid of the toxins out of the body, we can encourage our body to thrive. So for me, I don't cleanse for weight loss. I cleanse because I sleep through the night, my skin gets optimized, it looks really healthy. That brain fog, it just goes. I feel like Mary Poppins. I have this crazy amount of patience when I'm cleansing. Like the first few days of detox isn't great, but it's just 10 days. It's like a reset. It's like putting your body in for an MOT. We do it for our cars and we don't do it for our body. Such a way for mums to just feel empowered, or anyone to feel more empowered and to feel optimal, more energy, better sleep, better skin, better health, better food, nourishment. So we do that, and then we recognise December's going to be awful for most. So then we do another one in January, and we tend to run them every month. So yeah, just drop me a message, have a chat. I've got lots of short little videos that I send to people. But yeah, it's so important just to bridge the gap and to try and practice those pillars of health, that holistic, nutrition is one, sleep is another, water is another, mindset is another. We should be trying to just curve the edges off a little bit, try and get as much as we can.
Yeah, and just be kind to ourselves again at the moment, I think.
Give yourself...
that's one of the messages I wanted to put out today at the beginning of what's going to be another tough 4 weeks in the UK at least, and the other countries that are already going through it. Just be kind to yourself. Take some of these great tips and just sit with them and just go, right, well, how can I? Okay, well, it's the weekend and the kids have a lie-in. Maybe I can get up 10 minutes earlier and just read a book.
Yeah, and I always talk about, and I'm so worried my battery is going to go, but I always talk about baby steps. If you do a cleanse, it's not about then changing your entire lifestyle. That's ridiculous. I always say, what one thing can you take forward for maybe the next month, and just try and build in. And so I always say with self-care, don't try and climb the mountain in 3 minutes. Just take one thing, like maybe I'll get earlier for me. Maybe I'll do 3 gratitudes a day. Do that for a month. Make it a habit before you try anything. Just, bite small bites eats the whole cake, right? Instead of trying to shove the whole, just take each day. Try and little things.
Yeah, so we're not putting ourselves under that pressure, because the pressure then leads to failure, and then the failure just spirals to other things. So I think that's it makes perfect sense to me. We're also before your phone dies, Chloe, put all your links underneath for us, okay?
Yeah.
Don't disappear when I turn this off, because I'll have a quick chat with you, but we'll put all of Chloe's links underneath. She's got some brilliant resources, everybody. I can tell you now, because I've looked at quite a lot of them and gone, and her cleanses, I've been meaning to do it for ages, so I've now committed live to do the cleanse. Again, I'm quite pleased about that, because I procrastinate, so now I can do it.
Awesome.
We'll put all the details below, everybody. Hopefully lots of you will catch up with this at another time. Again, when we booked it, I completely forgot it's fireworks night, so I think a lot of people are exactly as you're going to be doing later on, Chloe, huddling around with the kids, fires in the garden, marshmallows toasting, maybe some fireworks depending on whether you've got animals or not. But if you've got any questions and you're watching this on replay, do just tag us in, okay? Because I know Chloe, she is up for answering questions without any problem at all. We're going to say goodbye. Have a lovely bonfire night, everybody. Be safe. You got hello.
Oh yeah, I'm being summoned for the fireworks display we're doing.
Yeah, come on, stop your chatting.
Yeah.
Hello.
I've got a website which needs a bit of updating. But the website is the B Plan, thebplan.info. If you want to go and more about the cleansing, the products, be quiet, boy.
Reality of parents. This is what happens. I had the dog. You got a child.
Yeah.
It's what happens. Chloe, thank you very much for giving us your time and some awesome. I knew you'd have awesome tips that we can all manage and take little steps and start integrating. I will chat with you in a minute. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you very much for watching. I'm going to head off now and turn this off, and we'll catch up with you soon.